Okay, hi guys. We are here with Lisa Becker, right? You're Lisa Marie on Facebook, so I'm always
Yeah.
like, what's her real name? We're here with Lisa Becker today on Bells and Balance, and Lisa and I have known each other for a couple of years now. We've been working together in like the Beachbody realm, and doing a lot of different workout programs together. And I've just always been really impressed with her dedication. And she's a lot of different obstacles to overcome. And so I wanted to have her on today and talk about that. So welcome.
Thank you.
I wanted to start out by talking about just like your day-to-day life. I know you have a pretty demanding job and a
hmm
crazy commute. So can you tell us, just give us a little bit of background on that and what you do and what your commute is like?
I have an hour commute to and from work, so 2 hours total. In the morning, I have to be out of the house by 6:15 to make it to work on time. And
Wow,
then,
that's
then I
insane.
get to leave at 4, miss rush hour, but it's still an hour with no traffic.
And you work a regular 8-hour day, right?
Yes. Well, usually I work for lunch, but yes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I do too, so I know how that goes. But I think that's important to highlight because there are a lot of people who feel like they don't have time to work
Mhm.
out or to meal prep or anything like that. But obviously, like if you can work a regular full-time job, which is pretty demanding for you, and then also have 2 hours of your day in the car, if you can figure that out, anybody can, and you're doing hour-long workouts right now.
I
Yeah, so I mean, I think that was why I wanted to just highlight that because I talk to so many people who say they don't have time, and it's like, really, do you not have time, or do you just do other things during that time? Um, and then I know that Lisa and I, just so you guys know, Lisa and I are both doing the 80-day obsession program together. And we started at the same time, but then you had a flare up of your autoimmune disease and the arthritis that comes with that. And so you had to take some time off. Can you tell us what happened and sort of how that worked with the program and what you did to compensate for it?
Yeah, I took a week off of the workouts and just concentrated on yoga or things that weren't incredibly hard or had a lot of impact. I have it's AS, it's ankylosing spondylitis. It is an autoimmune form of arthritis that affects the spine and the pelvis. And if I don't keep active, my spine will start to curve in. So
Ooh.
I have to keep it up, or it'll permanently go in and curve. So when I have flare-ups, it feels like someone is like stabbing me in the sciatic nerve.
Oh,
So
that
I call
can't
my
feel
doctor. He usually gives me either a shot. No,
good.
he usually either
I
gives
can't
me some
imagine that feels good.
medicine for it, or if the medicine doesn't work, I get a shot in the joint, which I haven't had to have that for like 2 or 3 years now.
Oh,
So, but the
okay.
flare up went away, and I was able to start just a week behind you guys. So I was able to
Yeah, and
restart.
that's, I mean, and so and it's not like you were just like laying around doing nothing, although if your condition called for that, then obviously that's fine, but you were still moving and doing things to help you. So that does yoga help with that when that flares up?
Yeah, yoga is one of the things that my rheumatologist has recommended that I do on a regular basis because it moves the spine in so many directions. It keeps it from fusing.
Oh, okay. Are there, because it's an autoimmune issue, are there certain foods that you need to avoid? I've been doing a lot of research on, nutrition and how, because I also have an autoimmune disorder, um, how nutrition affects that. Have they made any recommendations to you about what you should or shouldn't eat?
Not really. My rheumatologist hasn't really gone into that. I mean, I just know there are some foods that I personally avoid.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of bread. As much as I love bread, it seems to hurt. It bothers me more than other things. So
Okay.
I limit that kind of intake, and that's just something as I've grown up with this, because I think I was diagnosed in my late 20s, no, mid 20s. I've kind of figured out as I've gone along, because everyone has a different trigger,
Absolutely. Yeah,
and
for
bread
sure.
is one of mine.
Well, that's the only reason I ask is I'm listening to Wheat Belly right now. I don't know if you've ever read that book or heard of it, but it's just really interesting to hear about the effects that wheat has on some people. And the chapter I was listening to today, he was talking about thyroid issues and autoimmune disorders. And so I was just like wondering if that has ever come up because one of the things that I'm finding very interesting as I do this research is that doctors don't have a ton of nutritional knowledge or
Mm-mm.
training, and we sort of have to be our own advocates. And I think you and I have learned that along the way, that you have to kind of figure out what works for you and
Mhm.
what doesn't, because sometimes the doctors aren't all that helpful.
I kind of went off for the nutrition. I stick to what I'm supposed to an 80 day, but I kind of went off one day because I was tired. My husband had gotten dinner, he had gotten pizza. and my stomach, and I hurt so bad after having that. I'm like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, no, I'm a little concerned because actually this Wednesday is my refeed day. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what a refeed day is, it's actually scientifically proven that if you eat things, they call them like dirty carbs, so like your white bread and pretzels and things that you wouldn't normally eat on like a healthy diet. And I'm concerned about how my body is going to react to it because of those things. I'm going to give it a shot and we'll see. Are you planning on doing the refeed when you get there?
I'm going to try it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because I'm like, ooh, pretzels and waffles and all this stuff that I never eat. I'm curious to see how it works, but I'm also a little bit worried just because of that. I have the same issues with when I eat stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So you and I talk all the time. Like, I feel like we always have this constant dialogue, but one of the things that's been super exciting to see is that your husband is starting to follow your lead with all of this stuff. It only took him, 2 years?
Yeah.
All the stuff that you're doing. But I love that. And I think it's awesome because my husband, Rudy, is super stubborn with this stuff, and he will drink the shakes. But he makes fun of my workouts, and he has no interest in doing the containers at all. So I just think it's awesome that your husband is like suddenly very interested in what you're doing and starting to join you. So can you talk to us a little bit about some of like the obstacles that you've had with him? Because I know like he was really stuck on eating was it Danish in the morning?
Yeah, like a pastry of some kind.
The pastries, yeah. And I know he doesn't want to drink shakes or anything like that, but can you just kind of share like his evolution here with all this stuff?
I think it came from, he was super, super fit when he was in the Air Force. He was actually a leader for like the training.
Oh, wow.
And then he got out of the Air Force, and he kind of, I don't know, he just wasn't as active anymore. So he decided, and he said he's made fun of my workouts and how they're not hard and things like that. And he decided last Friday he really wanted to do something to kind of get back into the shape he was before. And he decided to join me in the last day of phase 1 and do cardio flow. And
it's not a good one to start off with.
And I had to pause it several times because he finished. He goes, "I'm never making fun of your workouts again. They're so hard." So, but now he's going to join me every day and work out with me after work.
That's awesome.
And I haven't gotten him on the shakes, but I am using the containers that kind of portion out as food. I'm not sure if he knows that, but that's how I'm measuring what I'm putting.
Well, you're just going to like hand him a plate.
And he told me to take the food. Pretty much. I took all the food's gone. So
is he a picky eater, or does he not like vegetables or anything like that?
He's a picky eater in that he doesn't want to try new foods.
Okay.
He knows, like, he likes like raw carrots, cooked carrots. He likes peas and broccoli, but he won't try anything else. He doesn't like peppers. He knows what he likes, and he won't venture or branch out from that.
Okay. Well, at least he has some vegetables. See, my problem is Rudy doesn't like any vegetables. Like, he'll maybe eat some salad, but the kids always laugh because they eat more vegetables than he does. He'll take like one piece of broccoli just so that he's eating it, but he doesn't like it. So at least you have that. It's a little bit easier.
But I take a plate and hand it to him. He'll eat it.
Yeah, well, and that's great. I think sometimes, it's when you leave them to their own devices, like him going to get his pastry every morning. Whereas, like, if you can provide him with something like he's been eating the beach bars, mm-hmm. which it sounds like he likes those, right?
That's the first thing I got him to try.
Awesome. And which kind was it? The peanut butter?
It was the peanut butter, and he's like,
so good.
He was gonna take a bite, and he goes, "Okay, I'm ready to spit it out." And I went, "You're not gonna spit it out." Then he tried it, and he goes, "Okay, that's pretty good." And now, like, we're almost out. And he goes, "Do you have more?"
Oh my gosh, they're just like children.
They're on regular order. So you have to just wait till the next order comes in.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. But I just think it's so awesome that he's starting to get, because we've talked about this so many times that like, my husband won't eat this and my husband won't do that. And talking about the workouts, like Rudy does make fun of my workouts, and I'm always like, you would never be able to finish one of these workouts. There's mm-hmm. just no way. I have to, especially with the cardio ones, I do have to pause it pretty often. I even this mm-hmm. morning had to pause mm-hmm. because they're intense, and you're talking an hour, which is more than we're used to. I usually stick to like maybe 30-minute workouts. So it's intense. So, these guys have no idea at all. But it sounds like your husband's learning.
No, when he wanted to start joining me, like, I want to start joining you. I messaged you and I went, I think the world's coming to an end. He wants to
I know,
start
I
joining
think
me
he
in my
messaged me like right
workouts.
away, like, what is happening? That's awesome. And
Let's see
he's
what happens.
oh, you just cut out for a second.
Oh, I'm back.
Okay. And he's been pretty supportive all the way though, right? With you doing everything. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's really helpful. I mean, another thing that I encounter a lot, and not just with health and fitness, but even with like business, like I used to, even before I was a coach, I used to run a women's networking group for all women who had started their own businesses. And so many of them had husbands who were not supportive. They didn't want them going out networking. They didn't like the time it took away from the family, all of that stuff. And then even with like health and fitness, I mean, they don't like that their wives are taking time to work out. They don't like the food, like little silly things like that. And that's really tough for some women to overcome. So it helps a lot. Like even if they're not on board totally, it does help that they're like, you do your thing and I'll do mine at least, because otherwise, I mean, it's hard enough to start a lifestyle like this, right? Like to stick to all this stuff. And especially this program is very challenging, both with the food and the meal plan and the workouts. So to have somebody who's like, yeah, go for it. It makes a huge difference.
And now he's kind of eating what I do. It's not no longer making, two different dinners like I feel like I was doing before. I'm kind of making one at this point.
That's really nice. So when you were making two separate meals, how did that work? Like, did you make two totally separate meals, or like did you share like some of the sides or whatever?
We shared some of the sides and some of the vegetables. Usually it was the protein that
Yeah,
was different, or he
that
would
was
want
different.
bread and butter. He always wanted bread and butter with it, and I wouldn't have that. There were times like I like the brown rice
Yeah.
and like that, and he wanted white rice, or I mean, it's things like that. Or I
Yeah,
won't do and he wants regular pasta. So that's what I've started narrowing down and having one.
yeah, well, I mean that can be really tough. I mean, that was one of the things that I started sort of like moving my family away from. So we never have white rice in the house. I get the Barilla Plus pasta. That's not easy to say. Which is like, it's like a mix of like chickpeas and whole grains and stuff. So I've sort of moved them away from like the white pasta and stuff. But for a long time, I was eating vegan. So they would eat like the meat. And so I would just eat like more of the sides, because it was so hard to make like two completely separate meals. So I would do maybe like a veggie burger, or like I had some other things that I would eat, but we would still eat the same side. So at least like I wasn't making completely different meals. But it's tough when you're making like two different kinds of rice and stuff like that. So is he more open to eating like the brown rice and stuff now?
Yeah, he was eating it yesterday.
Oh, good.
And I got rid of all the white rice in the house and the regular pasta, and I got rid of all the white flour and white sugar.
Awesome. That's
Everything
fantastic.
gone, and he hasn't really noticed that I've replaced the flour or the sugar.
That's really good. And I think like after a while you acquire a taste for it and you don't even really notice. Like white rice seems weird to me now. Like it's just not something that I eat very often. I'm used to brown rice. So, and it's honestly not a huge difference once you try it. I think it's more of like, oh, that sounds weird, I don't want to eat that.
Well, he had a cookie the other day that someone made, and he told me, he's like, this is really sweet. That's because I wasn't using the white sugar and stuff. So he said you adapt.
Yeah, you make a lot of healthy treats, it seems like, too. I need to get some of your recipes. We should do an episode of this where you like cook something and show us how to do it.
I experiment a lot with food. I like to try and make it as healthy as I can. And I've had failures.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't try, you don't know, right?
Yep.
What's your favorite healthy sweet treat that you make?
I use the chocolate Shakeology honey. You can put some oats in there if you want something a little bit thicker, and then I use chunky peanut butter, and I mix it together, put it in the fridge, and let it just set, and it kind of tastes like fudge.
Yes, I made something similar to that with my daughter last year, and I don't know why, it's because they were super easy. I don't know why I haven't done it again, but they're so good, and it's so nice to have like something like quick that you can grab that's still good for you.
Yeah, I made some last night. I hadn't made it for a while either, so it's in the fridge.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Well, is there anything else you want to share, or any like words of wisdom you want to impart, or anything like that?
Just that, I work all day. nonstop. I said what I do in the insurance industry, and I'm actually I'm in the middle of switching departments right now. So half the day I'm in one department, half the day I'm in the other
Oh my
department.
gosh.
It never stops, but I honestly feel so much better, productive, and awake if I work out. If I don't work out, I just don't feel like I can do it. I feel a lot more energetic when I have my workouts. And
Yeah,
you
and
just,
even
huh?
having like a condition like you have, it helps, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And you just, if you want to do something, you'll make time for it. You'll make it a priority. So
Uh,
it's the thing that you'll just work it into your schedule because you want to.
yeah, that is absolutely true. And that's, it's either a priority or it's not. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing, like, I don't know if you've ever seen this before. I think it's like a meme or something, but if you take like something that you say you don't have time for, and instead of saying I don't have time, saying it's not a priority and seeing how that feels. So if you say I don't have time to work out and then you switch it to it's not a priority for me to work out, how does that make you feel icky? Because if it does, then
Yeah.
maybe you need to change that up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I'm just so grateful for you and grateful that our paths crossed. Has it been 2 years?
I think
Close,
so. I
close
had my
to
knee
that, right?
surgery was a year ago last Friday.
Wow. Oh my
So
gosh, that's crazy.
I
Yeah, but
know.
I mean, I feel like you're part of my support system that, like, not just because, and I want to be clear that this is not a show about Beachbody. I just happen to do Beachbody and I happen to have a lot of close friends who do. But it's become a lifestyle for us. And part of that lifestyle is having that community. And you're like probably one of my biggest champions within that community. So I just wanted to tell you that I'm just very grateful for you. And thank you so much for spending your time with us tonight and just sharing your story, because I know that's not always easy.
I'll let you know how he does in the workout today.
Yes, please do. All right, I am going to end the recording now.